Yes guys, I'm Si, welcome back to Cardiff City World, and this is an interesting one. We're getting towards pre-season, the players are back on Monday, and we have got a special edition of the Breakdown Extra where we're going to talk about Eli King. Cardiff City's midfield still has a question mark. We lack athleticism, physicality, and a genuine number 6. But what if Eli King, age 22, is part of the answer? He's been on loan at Stevenage most recently, racking up 27 starts, logging over 1,300 minutes. He scored the 1 goal with an XG of just under 0.8. 13 shots, 5 on target as per FootMob. Is Eli King the answer to Cardiff City's problem? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at that in detail and see where we are. So, Eli King. Let's look at his loan trajectory. Easy. Let's track the journey so far. Initially, he was loaned to Cymru, where he made 15 appearances. Morecambe, he made 20 appearances with 1 goal. Then he went to Ross County and made 15 appearances, and now 27 appearances at Stevenage in League One. That shows there's been a progression. He's getting minutes and he's getting more of them, and it's not just minutes, it's growth. Each year he's stepping up a bit of a level. So again, I asked the question, is he the guy? So what stands out? Well, he's a pass first midfielder. It's not just safe recycling. He's made 30 plus accurate passes per 90 minutes, which is big in League One. The defensive side, he's made 22 tackles on average. It's a 55% win rate over the season. 84 duels, that's 54.9%. 65 recoveries, 9 interceptions. So he has got a bit of a good mix in terms of the defensive stats. And then when you look at his passing stats, he's got a pass accuracy of 76%. He's got 30.2 accurate passes per 90 minutes, which again is really high for League One. He's got 3 assists in the season with an expected assist of 1.93 per game. He's created 20 chances throughout the season, 41 long balls, 50% of which found their mark. So again, it's a good mix. On SOFA score, King averaged 6.8 to 7.2 most matches, often flagged among the top performers. So again, he's done it in League One. And when I was looking at some of the clips, it was interesting. He scored a goal versus Exeter, I think it was, off the top of my head, and you could notice straight away how he timed his run into the box. He capitalises on the mistake, he slots it home. Typical threat from a late arrival. There was also some other examples of what he did well, but he breaks up the play. He breaks up the play well. He reads 2-on-2 situations, he anticipates the space, and he screens the back line very well. These are all moments that a number 6 lives for. But he does have the passing range. As I mentioned, 50% of his long balls over the season found their mark. And look, a 40-yard ball to a winger at 50% accuracy, plus the short progressive passing. If you compare that to Stevenage midfield average, and you compare that to the rest of the league's average, it's pretty good. In terms of the physical duels, his ground duels are good. You can feel that he's got a decent frame on him. He's still agile, whilst also being big. But let's talk a little bit more about his physicality and his athletic profile. He's about 6 foot, depending on which database you look at. He's 6 foot, 6'1". But he's not just tall. He is built. He's not bulky, but he is strong in the upper body. So he's good for shielding the ball, but also quick, and quick enough to carry the ball. 54.9% ground duels, 45% aerial duels won over the season, as per FootMob. That is a pretty good mix, in fairness. In terms of full match fitness, because what we always say, availability is the best ability. Well, he regularly competes 90 minutes, and in terms of recovering the football, he made 65 recoveries through the season. That's good stuff. Good defensive work. I would like to look a little bit further into the position that he can play, because I think he has the on the ball ability to potentially be a number 8, but maybe not now. but also number 6. So let's look at it. Let's look at the different roles. So let's look first and foremost at a number 6, single pivot in the 4-3-3, or the defensive of the 2, a double pivot. So on the pros, I think he's very strong positionally. He reads the game well, and he's got good shielding. He seems to have really good anticipation for interceptions, and his recoveries are pretty good as well. So that side of it, he looks pretty made for a number 6 role. In terms of the cons, I think he can be slightly passive in the press. I'd like to see him be a bit more aggressive, but that can be coached very easily. And I think sometimes he gets caught out for pace in the more athletic midfield oppositions. They can kind of get past him a little bit too easy if they've got that additional pace. But look, most people get caught out by pace. And then if you look at him as a number 8, there is pros to it. He's a really good progressive passer. Created 20 chances. He's active in his progression of the ball, looking for forward passes, looking for a key pass. And as I said, he does win tackles for the transition and things like that. And his movement off the ball is pretty good. Cons. This is a deceptive one, right? Because if you look at the cons, creativity is probably a con. But he probably played most of his time as a 6. He only created 3 assists through the season, 20 chances created over the season. So you've got to put it as a con. Like if he was going to play as a number 8, creatively he's got work to do. His dribbling success is probably not that great for a ball carrier number 8. But ultimately, I think he could be there as a number 8 in the future. I just don't think he's there as a number 8 for Cardiff City now. Number 6, I think there's a conversation to be had. But let's move on. So for Cardiff, where we sometimes need a workhorse, a single pivot, more than a creative spark, I think Eli King will fit alright. If we need more of a deep line playmaker, if you think sort of a number 6 like in the mould of Joe Rawls, maybe Eli hasn't quite got the skill set yet. But again, this will be a big season for him. If he can force his way into the Cardiff City side, even if it's initially as a 6, you might see some very quick progression from him then, where he's playing week in, week out with good footballers and really good technical players around him. You could see a big improvement in him quite quickly. In terms of a fit for the first team, is Eli King ready to play week in for week out for Cardiff City? Let's look at it from a pros cons side of it. I think from an experience point of view, like his experience of men's football, I think he's more than ready. He's had a few loans, played 27 games last year under his belt. He's played in League One and dealt with the physicality side of it, so we know he holds his own that side. He's tactically calm. He's disciplined enough to play a role, such as a number 6 or a defensive midfielder. He's decent enough on the ball that he's not a liability. You're not like thinking, oh yeah, he's really good as a number 6, but as soon as he gets the ball, it just gives the ball away. Like, he's good enough, especially if you get the right players around him. He's got the physicality, he's got the frame, he's fit. I'm just not sure if we're looking for someone who's maybe a bit more athletic and a bit more explosive in terms of their pace and their ability to carry the ball over short periods. I think that's a big thing. In terms of the cons, yeah, like I said, pace. He gets caught out defensively sometimes by pace, as do other players. But equally, I don't think he's got that pace to where if he does win a tackle, he can get away from someone quickly with a bit of a drop of the shoulder. But that's not the end of the world if you've got the likes of Alex Robertson, David Turnbull, Ruben Colwell very close by, who are really good ball-playing midfielders, or if you've got a Dylan Lawler behind you, Perry and G at right back. Like, they're all good footballers who he can move the ball on too quick. Long term, I think there's a question mark, but I think you've got to give him a bit of a chance in pre-season, because with good coaching, I think there's something there. Look, if Cardiff need a no-nonsense number 6, someone who's going to be positionally disciplined, understands the role, loves the club, then Eli King is probably a guy who can play some football for Cardiff City's first team this year. I don't know how much, because we'd have to see how they go in pre-season and how it works. But if the manager wants a wide range of players and passers like your Ramseys, your Rawls, then Eli King's probably not that guy at the moment. But if you're looking for discipline and positional intelligence, then he can certainly looks like he could do a job. We'll have to see him in pre-season alongside these players in Brian Barry Murphy's system, because ultimately that's what it'll come down to, is will he fit Brian Barry Murphy's vision. But finally, let's look like on the regular starter thing. The short answer is yes, he can be a regular starter for Cardiff City. Has a disciplined number 6. I think he's got all the attributes. As a more box-to-box number 8, or someone who you're looking to be a bit more progressive, I'm not so sure. But the data does back up that he can be a starter. He played in League One last year, which is the league we're in. 76% pass completion, 22 tackles, 65 recoveries, decent duel percentage. That all shows a player who can play in League One week in, week out. He's tactically mature. He's physically ready. He's already got mid-table League One experience. Yes, he lacks a bit of pace and creativity, but ultimately that might not be what we're looking for from him. We are looking to get back to the Championship. Can we do that with Eli King as our first choice number 6? I'm not sure, but I do think he can be one of 2 options for that position, and I don't think it's a problem. I'm not convinced or not sure that he can be the first choice number 6. Doesn't mean he can't be. I'm just not sure. I'd need to see it in our system with our players and see him play regularly, or at least have a few games in pre-season before I could really go and hang my hat on, yes, he's good enough to be our number 6. But I certainly think he should be in the squad. I really do. Unless we're, going to bring in 2 excellent number 6s who are then going to knock him down the pecking order, then I think it's an issue. It also is going to depend on things like what's Joe Rawls doing, because I think Joe Rawls will be one of the number 6s for Cardiff this year. Rhys, like, what's he going to do? Is he going to go be playing as a right back option or a midfield option? Because then again, you'd say probably, even though I disagree, I wouldn't really want to play Joe Rawls or Rhys in midfield. I think most managers would put them 2 above Eli King in the pecking order. So, and then you've got Turnbull, you've got Robertson. It all becomes a bit crowded in there, and that's without any new signings. But I want to know what you guys think. Would you give Eli King a regular starting spot this year? As in, would he be one of your 2 options for number 6 this year? Would you play him as a single pivot in a 4-3-3, as Brian Barry Murphy does often play? Would you play him more as a number 8 in a 2? Or would you play him as a 6 in a double pivot? I'd love to know your thoughts. Please, as always, add that context. Tell me what you think so that I can then hear your opinions. I don't want to just yes, no. I want you to beef out your opinions. Let me know. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share. We'll be back tonight with another live show or another bit of content 7 days a week, and at the moment it's twice a day as well. We are flying. We're loving all the feedback, all the support. Thank you so much. If you can, become a member. If you are a member, make sure you get your order in for the limited edition football shirts, because that closes at 4 PM on Monday. Keep the faith, my friends. It's coming. We're going to hit this transfer window now, and it's going to be real interesting. We're going to talk about potential players. We're going to talk about scout reports. We're going to talk about everything that we can possibly think about. If you haven't seen it already, check out the video I did on Cardiff City's new assistant manager, Lee Riley, yesterday. And of course, you can check out a whole series of videos we've done on Brian Barry Murphy. I will see you in a bit. Take it easy, my friends.